my cat today is going to be like in and out, biting cords and in plants. So she's, I don't know.
Perfect is the word you're looking for.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Jordyn Jones podcast. It's your host, Jordyn Jones, but today we have our first guest, Kira Kosarin.
Hi.
In the house. Guys, we kind of go way back.
We were just talking about it.
It's weird to think about how like we were kind of like young child stars.
Yeah.
But I mean, she's Princess Thunderman over here. Like, she's like Princess Nick. If you guys don't know her, she's a content creator, singer, actress, producer. Like, what else? What else?
Yeah, you nailed it.
I nailed it.
You pretty much nailed it.
And you guys may know her from the Thundermans. And there's a new movie coming out. March, so next month. I'm so excited to like watch that, and all of the kids, I bet, like growing up, they've always like dressed up as you for like Halloween. Yeah. It's so cool, and now you're producing it. Have you done that in the past, or just for this movie?
No, I haven't done it in the past, at least not on this sort of scale.
Yeah.
It was awesome. I mean, I care so much about the show, and so when it came up that we might try to do something with it, I felt very strongly about how we should do it, and so I was really grateful that Paramount Plus let me take such a big part in forming it. It was really, really cool.
Yeah, you like grew up, and if they're like looking back at you just like being this like young girl, and now
14.
like and like now you're just like, oh yeah, I'm the executive producer.
Yeah,
like, over here.
It is really wild. Like being on set felt like you know those dreams where you're back in high school and you're like, wait, I've been here before. Why am I here? Like, I have them all the time, and it literally felt like that.
But most shows, I feel like now they hire like 26, 35-year-olds to play like the high school kids.
It's true.
Everyone was saying that with like Riverdale and I don't even know, like Outer Banks too. Like all these kids are like, they play so young.
I feel like we used to joke that like when you move to Hollywood as a teenager, first you play Nickelodeon Disney teenager, and then you play CW teenager, and then you play like Netflix teenager, like because as you go through your career, like Jacob Elordi is still playing a high schooler, right? Like if he can do it.
Yeah, so I don't know. We just go way back. We would be on like red carpets together. I even told my mom I was having you on, and she was like, oh my gosh, I love that girl. She was at every single event. She looked so good.
Oh my God, your
like,
mom is so sweet. Send her my love.
She is. I will.
That's
so
cute.
We're all big fans over here. So we will get to know her a little bit later in the episode. We have a couple questions for her. But to start out, of course, we have your guys' confessions we're going to go over.
Give me the tea. I'm so excited.
We're going to react. And I know these ones are pretty juicy. I asked you guys on Instagram if you guys could send in your worst date experience or your bad first date. So we have some juicy ones, but I do have a question.
I was about to ask you. Are you about to ask me?
I am. How about your weirdest date experience or bad first date?
I have had some bad ones.
Really?
The first one that comes to mind, it's not really anybody's fault, but it was really awkward. I was probably like 19, like pretty.
I thought you were gonna say 9.
Oh my God, no!
I was like 9.
Oh, nobody wanted to go out with me at 9, and I'm so glad because that would have been weird.
I know. By the way, she's like a fiance too.
I know. So no more bad dating for me ever again. Hopefully.
Okay. Sorry. Rewind.
No, all good. So I was like probably 19, I think, fresh off of my first like serious relationship, and I was on my way into a coffee shop in LA, and there was this guy walking his dog, and he was kind of cute. We had like a little interaction. And he apparently lived right there. And when I got back to my car after eating lunch with my friend, he had left a note on my car, like a paper note with his number and his name, being like, hey, like, call me, thought you were cute. No, it was a really respectful note too. It was like, if you're taken or not interested, totally don't worry.
Love that.
I was like, ooh, old fashioned, cute. Okay. And I called him, and he didn't have any like full last name, so I couldn't stalk him online. Fully blind date. And we went to that same restaurant.
Which is better, by the way. I feel like people nowadays will just like judge right away.
Normally I would agree with you, except for what happened next, which is that we got about halfway through this date before realizing that he was like 36.
I thought you were going to say he was like my second cousin or something.
That would have been worse. That definitely would have been worse.
36, wow.
He was like 36.
19.
And it was one of those moments where we both just immediately were like, well, the food hasn't come yet. And we're clearly not on a date anymore. So we just had to like sit there and make small talk until the food came. And then we never swapped social media, never saw him again.
That's
like,
pretty awkward.
It was really awkward.
I feel like it's kind of on the no. I feel like instead of saying like, you know, if you're taken or not, if I saw like a 19-year-old and I thought they were cute, my first thought for a girl would be like, oh, like what, how Like, honestly, if you're over 18, call.
I was dressed up for like a business meeting with a writer friend. So I think I looked like, I don't know. I guess I looked like I was in my mid-20s.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So me though, me at 19, I looked 12. Me now,
I look a little 12.
I look maybe 18 now.
You could still play a 14-year-old best friend on Disney if you wanted to.
I know.
Which is great.
I definitely could.
When you're 60, you're going to look 30 and everyone's going to be jealous.
This man in my Pilates class, he's like this crazy facialist, and he's like talks about how he's 42, but he does this crazy facial, and he has 20-year-olds like hitting on him, like thinking he's like his age. And I was like, if I did that, you'd look 7. I literally look 7 years old. But on to your guys' confessions now.
Spill the tea.
This first one is a little bit crazy. This girl picked up her steak, mashed potatoes, and broccoli with her bare fingers. That's all he said?
Well, okay. I'm an eating with your hands apologist. Like, use the tools nature gave you. If your steak's cut up, like, honestly, pick it up and eat it.
At a restaurant.
Yeah.
I am totally an etiquette person, so I'm a little different than you.
I mean, you're probably like on the right side of history here. I grew up in a house where my mother never used utensils. Now I'm just outing myself here. Like literally when I was like 6 years old, I went to a sleepover and the mom literally called my mom and was like, is there a reason that your daughter won't use a fork? And my mom was like, yeah, that's my bad. Now I do. I have very good etiquette at restaurants, I promise. But they're just on different wavelengths, I think.
But like, come on, your mashed potatoes.
Okay, mashed potatoes. No, mashed potatoes is a hard no. Like there's a level. It has to be solid. It can't be too saucy. It's got to be like small bites. But if you have a little piece of broccoli on your plate, you want to be like, I'm okay with that. No. If your hands are clean,
no.
All right, next time you and I go out to dinner, you're gonna have to look away because
I think my boyfriend would look at me and be like, are you an animal? Like something
Were you
like that.
raised on a farm?
Yeah, I'd be like, yes, I am. Actually, I am raised on a farm, but
I was.
He would be able to use that against me.
If something ever comes over you and you're possessed and you just like need to use your hands and he gives you crap for it, just be like, Kira said it's okay.
At home, sure. Maybe.
Okay, that's fair. If you're at a nice restaurant, use the damn utensils.
Yeah,
that's fair. That's fine.
This girl picking up her mashed potatoes with her.
Yeah, mashed potatoes is a hard pass.
Yeah, even if I didn't like the person and I wanted them to like not like me and not take me on another date, I still don't think I would do that.
You still think that that's a step too far if you were intentionally trying to get them to not get you out to take you out again?
Yeah.
That's actually a really good question. Like, what would you do on a date subtly to make the person not want to take you out again, but without them knowing that you were pulling?
Easy.
What?
I would, say I have to go to the bathroom. To go to the bathroom, I'd text my mom or my assistant, and I would say, in 5 minutes, text me that I have to leave.
No, but not how to get out of a date. How to make sure they don't want to ask you on a date again. Because that's really clever, but I also am at the point in my life where if I want to leave, I will just come up with a reason and leave.
I misunderstood
I'm sorry, I have to go.
Yeah.
Great answer to a different question, though.
I'm thinking, okay, my boyfriend's like big on the etiquette thing, so like if I knew he was big on etiquette,
I guess it's a personal thing.
Yeah, I would be like eating with my hands.
Yeah. Wow, I'm really glad that I never went out with your boyfriend because you would have just been like, go home.
Yeah, we like sit next to each other. I don't want you to be friends with her. She eats with her hands. No.
This is going to be the one big takeaway from this podcast, like the hot news tabloid. What's the word I'm looking for? Headline.
Headline. On to the next.
This is exciting.
We went to the fair and he got sick on a ride that he chose. Kind of an ick.
I was going to say kind of an ick.
And he didn't want to go on any of the other fast rides with me.
Aw, I feel bad though. Because that's not his fault.
But at the same time, yeah, I would just be like, total ick.
It is an ick. I'm really lucky. My fiance and I got like really like too drunk within the first like week of us meeting where, you know, it was the kind where it's like when you see each other at that level of like pain, it's just up from there. And I was like glad we got it out of the way so early because I was like, okay, great, we're not going to be icked out later. Like we've taken care of each other in a dark moment already. It's just up from here. The cat is climbing on this bookshelf like a parkour warrior.
Wow, we really need a matcha cam at some point in the future.
We do. Oh my god, what if you wore a GoPro and you can just like look at her and cut to the GoPro?
That's so funny.
Wow.
But
I'm so obsessed with her.
This is the first time she's ever wanted to explore here. She's never wanted to leave my side.
I love your adventurous spirit, Matcha.
Yeah, she's so adventurous, guys. But anyways.
Yeah, that's hard.
yeah, it's just like if you're really into something and then your boyfriend doesn't like it or gets sick, like for instance with my relationship, we love like going on drives and like going through canyons and like being in like, you know, fast cars and stuff. And
it's so LA, I love it.
Yeah.
We love driving through the canyon.
Yeah.
It really is great. A little sunset drive through the canyon.
And one time I got car sick. And a million times we've done this, you know? And I just I remember thinking like, obviously he doesn't care, but like it makes me like nervous that I'm gonna like get sick again doing something that like he's like, oh, I don't want like to go on a drive with you, like you get sick. And because I feel like it is such like a gross thing, but that was more of like an actual, well, I guess the fair ride is the same thing.
It is. I do think other than the getting sick, a fair is a very cute first date or early date because you have like time to talk, but you have activities to focus on if you don't have enough in common. It's a good first date. Yeah, I mean, maybe they got past this. Maybe she doesn't care that much, like that he got sick and they're going strong. And it's a great story that they can tell at their wedding. Be like, haha, remember when? Yes. The married girl, or almost married girl over here thinks like that. I do be thinking about weddings these days, sorry. Honestly, it's not even because I'm thinking about it that much. It's just because it's the only thing people ask you when you're a fiance. Literally everyone who sees me, the first thing they're saying is like, oh, when's the wedding? Like, how's the planning going? Like, what are you doing? What are you wearing? What's the wedding? What's the dress? What's the type of cake? Exactly. And I'm like, I will tell you when I have answers for all of these things. Or maybe I won't. Maybe I won't. Next confession. The girl's phone rang. She picked up and proceeded to complete a political survey in front of me for 15 minutes. I have never done one of those. Have you? No. Like, please stay on the line. I will not be staying on the line. That's wild. I mean, I guess it shows that she's got follow through. Yeah. Like she's got commitment. Yeah. Kind of a green flag if you're into that, maybe. But that's really weird. If it's actually 15 minutes, that's like just disrespectful of the other person's time. Of course. This one is another one of those, like, you could have, you know, it could have been good. You guys could move past it. Could be going strong, could be moving past it. It's just like a crazy one that I wanted to pick and talk about because 15 minutes is a long time. I literally don't even think I've ever stayed on the line for anything that has ever asked me to. Yeah. That's crazy that this girl's phone just rings and she did it. Whatever. Honestly, I'm more like flabbergasted at somebody picking up an unknown number because I get so many spam calls or like calls from fans who figured out like my email address or my number somehow where I'm just like, if I don't know you and it's an unknown number, I'm not picking up. And if it's important, you'll leave a message and I'll call you right back. Exactly. But I'm not picking up a random, unless I'm waiting for like a delivery or something. Yeah. That's the part that I'm more like, you're a little too trusting maybe if you're picking up. Yeah. Or what if she lied? What if it wasn't? That was literally what I thought you were about to say was like she picked up her phone and then she left and because I was like, yeah, because she wanted to leave the date. Maybe. No, I don't know. I mean, it'd be a great like improv game. Are you still there? Like say 3. 3. Yeah. Like, oh, that is crazy. I didn't even. It's her best friend being like, so how's the date? Yes, I'm voting this election. Does he have brown hair like you thought? No, I'm not interested in taking. Yeah, that'd be really funny. I hope that wasn't the case. Next. I saw this a lot. The first date, I paid the bill. I just wanted to talk about this one because it literally got sent in like 25 times. The paying on dates thing is really interesting. It's really interesting because I totally understand like wanting the guy to pay. Yeah. I also totally understand the guy feeling like if the girl offers to pay, not wanting to like deny her that ability to be like a strong, independent woman who pays for her own meals. I feel like, honestly, I know a lot of people will disagree with me on this, but I think all early dates should be 50-50. Because when you're early dating someone, like, you're basically friends. And friends, like, just pay for your own... or split the check. Don't pay for your own thing. Don't tally it up. Just, like, combine it and split it. Maybe one of you pays a couple dollars more, but, like... Do you disagree? Do you feel like guys should pay on the date? No, well, okay. I feel like it depends on how you were raised and, like, what you're... I was going to mention the whole... Hi. One thing I Not just like, I think you should pay for the date. One thing I did want to mention is that on our first date, my boyfriend, that like it was our first date, obviously he wasn't my boyfriend yet, but he did mention something like later on being like, oh, I just like did that because like I'm like the man, like I did that. I wasn't even 100% if it was like a date because how it like happened was we were talking and then like ended up meeting in Malibu, but then there was no like plan or actual
like date. So we were just like hungry, so we went to this place to eat, and he paid. But later he was like, oh, I just like, I didn't even think that was like anything. Like I didn't think that was like a date. I was just doing that because like, you know, like the man's like supposed to. And I had never been, it's always been me, usually, actually. Yeah. Like maybe someone's paid for me here and there, but I've always been like the one to pay, or at least 50-50. And now every like 2 months, like I'll take him out to dinner where like I plan it, because I'm like, I need to like catch up a little bit. Like I don't think that the man should pay every time. No. For instance, like his birthday's next week, so like I'll be paying for that. And then like little things here and there. But he's just more so of like guy pays kind of mentality, when it's always been like, I'm like, oh yeah, it's equal, or I pay because I just am like that. I don't know. So
I feel like a safe way to do it on a first date when you're not sure is like, guy should offer to pay, girl should offer to split it.
Course.
Up to the guy's discretion if he wants to say no, let me, or yeah, sure, that sounds good, based on if it seems like the woman like wants to. But I don't know. And also like if you're on a date with somebody that's the same gender, like it also just gets complicated. I'm just sort of just like, I don't know, just like do whatever. Like I don't feel like
I always offer to split.
Yeah,
even like, now in my relationship, I'm still like, let me have half.
Right. Like if I were on a date and like the other person I was with offered to pay, and I was like, no, please, like I want to take you out, and they let me, I wouldn't be like, I can't believe they let me pay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's like, we like do that. Like say if I get the reservation, it's kind of like I pay.
Yeah.
And if he gets the reservation, now it's kind of like he pays. I don't know. It's different than my other relationships I've had. So. Yeah. But yeah, I think definitely on a first date, if you're girl, guy, whatever, I'd say ask to like split.
Yeah.
And
can't hurt.
See how it goes.
Can't hurt.
Next one. He picked me up, and not even 2 minutes after, he crashed his car into my neighbor's house. He was nervous.
Yeah. I don't think there's really any coming back from that one.
Honestly, I disagree. I feel like it would be so
you would rather your date crash the car into the neighbor's house than pick up their broccoli with their fingers? I'm learning a lot about you.
I just feel like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Like, are we still gonna go get food? Are we still gonna go play mini golf?
I don't know. I think crashing the car is a bigger ick for me than even like getting sick on a ride. I don't know.
And it's not for me.
I think because part of it is like I want to feel safe with whoever I'm dating.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I want to feel like safe and protected, and I feel like if you're gonna crash your car into the neighbor's house, like, and if you're gonna crash your car into a stationary object too, like there's layers, there's levels. If you crash your car into another moving car, could have been the other person's fault. Like you don't know what happened. If you crash your car into a stationary object, that's a you problem. I say as somebody who's definitely crashed my car into a stationary object before. But like,
have you?
Well, I
have.
I was going.
I crashed into a building.
Oof. Didn't do that.
It was an insurance
happen?
Company building.
Ha! Wild.
Yeah, I drove into it instead of putting my car in reverse.
Yeah, I get it. No, I was driving down Wilshire, I think, and it's just a pretty narrow street where traffic's moving pretty quickly, and a lot of cars at rush hour. Cars are moving pretty quick, and there were a bunch of cars like parked on the right side, and I just got it was a pretty new driver, and I was on the way to like a very stressful meeting, and I was like running lines in my head, and I was like nervous, and I just got a little over, and I just barely clipped the back left of a parked car with the front right of my car, but it sent me spinning. It sent me spinning into another parked car, and then spinning again, and my whole wheel came off. Like it totaled my car, which is weird because my airbag didn't go off. My car wasn't super damaged, but because of the angle.
And were you fine?
I was fine because of the like the torque, right? Like the angle that I got spun at, because it was like pew. The back wheel just went pew.
Not the tire,
the wheel. No, it wasn't. It was a little Mercedes. It was a black Mercedes E-Class. May she rest in peace. But now I have a little white C-Class that's like a little cuter and girlier. So.
She made me realize that I think it is pretty the safe thing. I don't know if I could just like have a first date with a guy and then he crashes. I can't really feel like safe with that. You're right. But at the same time, if it happened like right now in my relationship, I would probably just different. Like I'd like laugh obviously like a little bit and then be like, okay, well obviously we have to assess the situation and get everything going, and then I'd be like, okay, are we gonna go eat?
Yeah.
Still.
Wow. Yeah. It's a wild first date.
Yeah. It's a story to tell. That's why I was story.
Like, your followers are like really giving us good stuff today.
Really, they really
well
are.
Done, Jordyn's followers.
I also saw this one pretty frequently. He was looking at the waitress across the room the whole time, telling me how hot she was.
Trying to bring her home? trying to have a threesome. Yeah, that's just a strange...
A lot of guys are lurkers, though.
Yeah, it's a strange thing to do when you're on a date. I'm almost wondering if it's like a guy tactic to try to make you feel jealous or insecure, like if it's a neg, you know?
Or if he's just weird.
I mean, all men are weird. That goes without saying.
I don't know.
I guess it depends on if I also thought the waitress was hot. Do you know what I mean? Like because I've definitely been in a situation where I've been on a date and a guy's been like, she's hot. And I've been like, yeah, she's super hot. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I'm fine with that. And I'm like, cool, moving on. Yeah. That's not really a problem for me.
For me personally, it would definitely make me like insecure. Yeah. It would make me upset. I would definitely not go back on a date with him, especially if he was just like looking and I was like feeling uncomfortable about it. It's one thing, but if he's like, oh my God, like she is so hot, right?
If he's like trying to get interaction with her, that's just a weird move to pull on a date. If anything, it just shows me that like you don't know what you're doing. Like you're a child. Because it's just a stupid move.
It'd make me feel sad.
That's fair. And you deserve better.
Okay, I went on a date once and they never showed up, so I was depressed for weeks.
Okay, can I curse? That's just...
Yeah.
That's just like asshole behavior. Like, don't...
At least call.
Yeah, just text. Just be like, hey, not gonna make it.
Oh yeah, at least text.
Can we reschedule?
Yeah.
Hey, something came up. Like,
this one broke my heart. She was like, I thought this guy was so hot, like my whole life. Finally asked me out on a date. I sat there for an hour by myself. The waitresses are looking at me, like coming up and still being like, hey, you're still waiting on someone you want to order? Like, do you want another drink? Like,
that's so embarrassing.
Being like stood up. It hasn't happened to me, but it's so, I already like feel for them.
I've been like not quite stood up, but like, I guess I'm gonna call it like reverse stood up, which I feel like you'll relate to this because you were in the industry as a young person too. But I was pretty young. I don't think I'd ever been on an actual date. It was definitely like way before my first date, way before my first kiss. I was probably like 14 or 15. And I was going to like an industry event that this guy I had a crush on was also going to. And we made plans to like go see a movie after. So it was like, okay, I'll meet you at the event and then we'll like leave together and go to this movie. So like I had my mom drop me off because I was like, okay, he's gonna like take me somewhere afterwards. And like I wore this outfit that I was like, okay, it'll be good for the event and it'll be good for the movie. And I like had my mom like teach me how to like shave my legs and like put on makeup. Like it was a very like quintessential 14-year-old girl experience. We got there and then I saw him and then he just like, I guess didn't like what he saw or he changed his mind or he just didn't care and he ended up leaving. And he was like, okay, bye guys, we're leaving. And he just like left with all of his friends. And I was like, oh, I thought we were going on a date. And like maybe I misunderstood or like, but I think he
can't give them the benefit of the doubt.
I think he was planning to like go out with me afterwards and then he saw me in person and was like not about it.
That's
I saw me in person again. He had seen me in person before. But also it was like 13 years ago, so it's hard to remember the details.
That just sucks all around. Don't do that to someone. Just text them. Because literally, especially girls, I feel like, they do their makeup for like an hour. They shave their legs. They do all of these things. I don't know, especially like a young girl. Like if it's your first date, it's like it's like the world.
It can be devastating, yeah.
Ugh, that makes me mad. Last one. He was shorter than me, and I wanted to go home
That's it.
away.
Worst kid ever. He was shorter. Is that really it? Just that he's shorter?
No, that she wanted to go home right away.
Because he was shorter?
Mm-hmm.
Give a short king a chance. I mean, I won't, but...
I won't either.
No, that's not true.
I mean, you can't be shorter than me. I'm 5'1".
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
Same height, maybe. But still.
I feel bad about it because, like, if I met the love of my life and the only thing not ideal were that he were shorter than me, I think I would like to think that I would be okay with it, but I love a tall guy. I just do.
I mean, like, you would think that it doesn't work with my boyfriend and I, and it just does.
Is he? Oh, he's 6'6"?
Yes. That's why it's like...
He's 1.5 feet taller than you? That's insane.
Like, my hands, like, straight can, like, basically go around his neck.
When I dated a guy once who was, like, 6'7" when I was 5'7", and I remember going out with him and being like, you're too tall for me. Like, this is... I have to stand on a curb to kiss you. Like, this is... Like, every time we walk in a room, people look at us like, this is not going to work.
I have to, like, go on my tippy toes. I have to wear, like, the Converse platforms.
You have to wear demonias to go out on a date. That's really funny.
And, like, I don't even wear heels ever, but she is so active today.
Matcha's going to become a camera girl. She's, like, figuring out how the camera works.
Yeah.
Do you want to pull focus, Matcha? Can you say speeding? All cameras mark?
And action.
What a good girl. What a little industry girl. I love her.
So that was all for the crazy confessions today.
I'm joining you.
Thank you guys. Yeah, thank you guys again for sending in your questions like always. We are going to get on to a couple questions to get to know our lovely first ever guest. Number 1.
Happy season 2, you guys.
I'm going to get right into it. How does it feel being back in your superhero suit? Or putting it on, like, again, for the first time in a while?
So surreal. So bizarre. It was not my first time putting it on since the show ended because I did take it home from the original series, which I was not supposed to do, and keep it under my bed. And
We've all taken something we shouldn't have from set.
I did put it on. Yeah, so true. I did put it on like twice to make TikToks with it after the show ended.
Did they hit you up and be like, we were missing this from the costume department?
They didn't. Because I think what happened is I took my stunt double one, the one that has little holes cut in the side from like harnesses and stuff. So they actually have like the original actual one, and it's on a mannequin at the Burbank Studios with a video screen of my face on it.
Love that.
So like people can come look at it. But yeah, it was really crazy putting it on like in hair and makeup on set. It was crazier seeing everybody else in theirs, I think, especially Jack, because like the last like several years since the show ended, like he looks very different than his character because usually he wears like a thick beard and his hair down, and like he does like makeup when he's doing music stuff. So I hadn't seen him as Max as a long time. So the first time I saw him like clean shaven, hair spiky in the blue super suit, I was like, oh my God, it's 2015 again.
And what's that like? You know, people, they gain weight, they lose weight, they change their hair, like having to go kind of like being back to a role. Is that like difficult to do? This is like a me question.
Yeah. I felt a lot of pressure on myself to like look really good. Yeah. Which was...
And you're comparing yourself to your younger...
Yeah, which was stupid of me. Like, I think that I wasn't always happy with how I looked on the original series because there was a period of time where I really wasn't taking care of myself physically because I was just, you know, it's hard to be a teenager growing up on a TV show and like going through puberty and not having time to work out or take care of yourself. I didn't get enough sleep for 6 years straight and was like always eating junk food. So I just like, I didn't love how I looked or felt on the show. And so I wanted to like make up for that in some way, but that's, I think, a really unhealthy mindset too, because
instead of just like doing it because you want
to. Like you're always gonna find something that you don't like. Like I got in really, really great shape, which felt great, but like I didn't get a haircut, which I really needed. And I just like, now I watch the movie and I'm like, oh, I should have gotten a haircut. Like, my hair is too long. It is like covering my face. Like there's just always gonna be something. Yeah. And so now going forward, now that I've had that experience, I'm like, okay, if we do like a sequel or a spinoff or like anything more Thundermans, I'm just gonna not care so much. Like I care, obviously I care deeply about everything, but just to try not be so like nitpicky, hard on myself about like I have to look the best I've ever looked because there's a camera on me. Like I can just look like a person and like that's fine. So yeah, there was definitely like pressure that I think came totally from myself.
Overall, it was just like great to be back.
Overall, it was great to be back. It was very emotional. It was like that's the words I keep using. It was like very emotional and very surreal. But it was really, really special. It, you know, when you're on a show and you become a family and then it ends, you can never go back to that. Like that's an experience that is contained and it's a wonderful memory, but you can't really ever go back to that. And then we did. And that just doesn't happen, you know? Like
and it wasn't it like years?
It was years, yeah. It's the show wrapped
2018?
2017. Okay. Yeah. We started in 2012. We wrapped in 2017, and then we shot the movie in 2023. Yeah, it was like exactly 6 years from when we wrapped to when we came back on set for the movie. Yeah, that's
crazy.
And it just doesn't happen. And we even got a lot of the crew back. Like
that's the best part.
Yeah, like they rebuilt all the sets. Honestly, that was the craziest part, like being in those sets, because I spent a lot of my time, even when we weren't filming, just like hanging out in those sets. Yeah. And like I graduated high school sitting on that set. And like, you know what I mean? Like I met my first boyfriend on that set. I like all of my life experience happened there.
It's just surreal to be back.
It was really surreal. Or something else I was going to say and I can't remember what it was. Well, the other thing is that like it took all of us a few days to like stop dissociating. We were all just like, where are we? What's happening? How is this possible? Like I'm living in a dream.
And you almost like having to get comfortable again with everything.
But then once it clicked, we all were like, oh, it feels like we never stopped. Let's do this forever. Like we all really did click
like that best friend you've had forever.
Totally.
And you like barely
see her. Left off. Yeah. Oh, the other thing I was going to say is that we also were back at Paramount.
Yeah.
And we weren't in our stage because the iCarly sets were in our stage. But
love iCarly.
Yeah, but we were back on Paramount. Like, the security guards remembered me. Like, I drove on and I went to give them my pass and they were like, hey, Kira, it's been years. Good to see you. What are you doing? And I was like, yeah, man, we're doing a movie. Like, I'm an executive producer on it. And they were like, oh, that's great, kid. Congrats. Like, go on in. Like, they've known me since I was 14, those guards at Paramount. Like, that is my home. So it was really cool to be back. I have such a place in my heart for Paramount Studios.
This is a really good next question then.
Yeah.
Do you feel like in any way like you relate to your character? Like your real you with your character forever?
Yeah, people have asked me this a lot over the years. My answer has changed many, many times. I really did when I started. I think when I started, I was kind of playing a fictionalized version of myself. Like OG Phoebe was very much like 14-year-old Kira, very much just like trying to do good, academic and kind of nerdy, and kind of just very uncool, but hopefully in an endearing way. Like, I really was that very sort of type A, like a little neurotic, but in a good way, just wanting to like be the best at everything, very like driven and kind of awkward. And I think as I grew older, I think Phoebe grew up with me a little bit, but I think I grew away from Phoebe.
Of course, because you're playing that character for so long.
There was such an overlap. Like, if you had asked me this when I was like 19, 20, right at the end of the series, I would have been like, I don't know what's me and what's Phoebe anymore. Like, it really was blurred, especially because like the only social life I had was the other people on the show for many of those years, because I just literally didn't have any other time to meet people. So like my friends were Phoebe's friends. My crushes were Phoebe's crushes. Like, there were very blurry lines. But now I think I'm very, very different to Phoebe. But I tried to like bring a little bit of myself to this new version of her and like have her grow up a little bit. There were certain lines where I would like, I was really excited to kind of give it a new, more mature spin. And Jed, our show's creator, would just be like, Kira, I need you to go 16-year-old Phoebe on this. And I'd be like, but Jed, he'd be like, Kira, just for this one line, I just need you to be like, Max, come on. I was like, fine, I can do that.
All right, last question. Aside from Thundermans, where are some interesting places or cool places that work has taken you over the past couple of years? Whether it's acting, singing, just cool experience.
That's a great question.
Thank you.
Let me
just
think
kidding,
for a
it's
sec.
not me.
Let me think for a sec.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, wait, who asked that question?
Cynic Reese.
Cynic?
Yeah.
Thanks, Cynic Reese. That's a cool question. Recently I went to Brazil to go to Comic-Con.
Oh my god.
Brazil Comic-Con, which was a really cool experience because like Brazil fans go hard.
Comic-Con goes hard.
Comic-Con fans go hard. So like Brazil Comic-Con was just like through the roof energy levels. That was really, really cool.
Okay, Brazil.
I feel like most of my answers actually are going to be places that I've traveled, because I've gotten to travel a lot of really cool places with Nickelodeon specifically that I don't think I ever would have gone to otherwise. Like I spent a week in Malta.
What is
which
that?
Which is an island off the southern coast of Italy, like halfway between Italy and Africa. And the culture is very much combined and the language is very much combined. Like there's a walled city that they filmed Game of Thrones in. Like it's a very, very cool historical place. The whole island is built out of this limestone, I believe, from the ground. So it just looks like it's been 3D built from the ground. And the thing I was filming there was like a tour of Malta. So I got to tour Malta and like be a tour guide on camera.
That's like the best.
Things like that where I'm just like, I never would have even known to come here. And it's one of the coolest places I've ever been in my life. So traveling.
How about one more?
Grammys was pretty cool too.
Oh yeah.
Go to Grammys was pretty fun.
I'm like the Met,
like Kids' Choice Awards, Grammys, like there's
Kids' Choice Awards. I danced on that 4 or 5 years on the opening number, like Will Smith and I think Austin Mahone one year, like Pitbull, Christina Aguilera.
Oh yeah.
So like I got slimed. Oh
yeah.
Oh, we should talk about slime.
We should talk about slime.
We'll wrap this up with how cool it is. I mean, I'm sure you've been slimed, right?
Oh yeah.
Cue a video.
Oh no.
I'm gonna cue a video of Kira being slimed.
I highly recommend finding the 2015 KCA slime car wash as your clip for that, because it was hefty.
Car wash?
Oh, they put us in a convertible on stage and drove us through a slime car wash.
It's hard to get out of your hair, right?
It's hard to get out of your everything. It's a lot. It's great.
Like the best, worst experience ever.
Yeah, it's a great thing to have done once. It's a cool thing to be able to say that has happened to you. it's a rite of passage. You're not a true Nickelodeon star until you've gotten slimed, but there's a law of diminishing returns of the joy.
It's like better than doing the Disney ear.
What? I mean, I have to say I agree, because otherwise I'll get sued. No, I won't get sued.
Really?
I will say I was when I was little, when I moved to LA, like I used to audition for Disney and Nick all the time, because if you're in that circuit, you're in that circuit. It's all similar casting directors and blah blah blah.
Yes.
And I got really close to like 8 Disney shows during the time where I was getting close to Disney and Nickelodeon shows, and I was so excited to do my little I'm Kira Kosarin and you're watching, and I never got to do it. I did get to do a lot of I'm Kira Kosarin and you're watching Nickelodeon, but I did used to practice my wand ID in the mirror.
Have you been on the top floor where you do it in front of them?
21st floor? Oh yeah. I literally talked about the 21st floor on the Chrissy Carlson Romano podcast, because
really?
It's such a like burned in my brain rite of passage for young actors.
8 producers in front of me, they asked me to do the sign, how I would do it. They put you on the spot, and it was the first time I had done it. And they just go, how would you do that if you were being filmed right now? And I was like a really like known dancer at that time. So I did like a kick and a turn and like a split. And then I was like, and you're watching Disney Channel.
As
and I
was
like, honestly, I feel like I've made it. Because I just wanted to do it.
I'm sure you crushed it.
Thank you.
Did you end up doing things for it?
It was me or Jenna Ortega for that show.
For Stuck in the Middle?
Yep. And then I did a Disney intensive and I broke my arm.
Oh yeah.
So
I remember that. Jenna Ortega was the second choice to play Nora on Thundermans.
Oh wow.
It was between her and Addison.
Wow.
And then she actually ended up being in an episode, and then they ended up having to like scrap the episode.
Oh.
So she was like almost in Thundermans like 3 times.
Shout out Jenna Ortega.
She was even in the original pilot as a different character. Yeah, she's great. She's absolutely the coolest, like crushing it right now.
And of course, shout out to Kira.
Oh, that's
coming
me.
today, being my first guest, and also Matcha over here. She's
Honestly,
always the co-host.
Matcha's the star of the show today. I'm just here saying words. Matcha's really the star of the show today.
And thank you guys for watching and listening to this episode. I will see you guys next Wednesday with a new episode. Make sure to check out all of Kira's social media down below and watch the new Thundermans movie. Any other shout out that you want to throw out there?
That's the big one. Yes,
the big one.
Follow me on all the places in the internet, and we can be internet friends.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Jordyn Jones Podcast. Jordyn's passion is to inspire, relate, and give you that much-needed 1-hour escape from life's everyday struggles. Your family, and we're so glad you're here. Make sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, find us on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at Jordyn Jones. Jordyn. This production is brought to you by Straw Hut Media, hosted by Jordyn Jones, produced by Ryan Tillotson, edited by Daniel Ferreira. Additional production help by Carolyn Mendoza, Ali Ahmed, and Samir Gonchi. Keep shining bright like the diamond you are, and see you next time on the Jordyn Jones Podcast.